I'd like to find the road we roam together, swinging along, finding the long way home. We didn't mind the time or place or weather, singing a song, finding the long way home. Remember, I used to sigh at the end of each day, dear.
What's going on, house lovers and explorers? Welcome back to another video. And this week we are looking at a series of old homes in the same suburb of Millswood, South Australia. There are three main explores, with the first two having history added. In fact, the second home uncovered a few extra twists and more history after I found a few old items during the salvage process, which involves another house on the same street. Also, I will recap yet another one on the same street that I explored in 2019 and take a look at what replaced a few of these homes. Okay, so let's get into it and head to the pretty suburb of Millswood, where we will start at 12 Alexander Avenue, which is a quaint little dead-end street that meets the old Brown Hill Creek. And this classic cottage I visited a few times before being able to film the inside. So let's take a look at some photos of the exterior of this place as I give the rundown of some history and information. The dwelling is a typical middle-class workers' cottage, and although it's still loaded with character, it's also very modest and simple, as you will see. It was built in 1914 along with the other identical cottages along Alexander Avenue, as around this time was when the street was formed and named. Listed first at the address the following year were both Mr. Thomas Davey and J.H. Hudson, who were indeed labourers. Mr. Hudson then had three different tenants over the next 5 years, when in 1920 the home changed hands to the Schofield family. As seen here, Mr. W.A. Schofield is listed at number 12. This original old cottage then stayed in the Schofield family for 101 years, guys, when it was sold in November of 2021. And as we look at this old gem, it seems nothing was added or removed or even restored over that time, as is the same for the inside, as you will see. Just a hard-working family living in their happy old home, enduring the decades as they rolled by. Now, I did try and uncover some more details about the Schofield family on Ancestry.com, but could not pinpoint anything directly matching, but I was able to speak briefly with one of the neighbours who knew the Schofields, and he only knew that the father and son both lived here and ran a home business for car servicing and repairs. Unfortunately, he did not give me the first names or if the son carried on here alone after the father passed away, as it seems 3 generations probably lived here given the time frame. And indeed, as we can see the shed at the back leading off the driveway, it is fitted out specifically to work on cars, with the car pit right there and plenty of workspace around it. These Google Street images from 2009 and 2013 certainly show many cars, even old vehicles out the back in the small yard. So they were probably very good mechanics with a faithful local customer base to keep the money coming in. So their old home was probably just a roof over their head at night as they worked at their craft through their day, and kept the old home as original as the day it was built. As you can see, the old summer kitchen fireplace here out in the vintage lean-to area. And to me, that just really gives off that olden days vibe. W.W. Schofield was listed through a short period of years through the 40s, 50s, but then W.A. Schofield was again listed in the last directory copy of 1973. I will try and complete this little mystery with further research in the future, as I am genuinely interested to find out more, and it could make a cool little follow-up as well. Alright, let's skip to the day at which the inside of the home was accessible, and Michael and myself were able to walk through this place and film it. And luckily it was just before they knocked it down, but they had already claimed the back lean-to and the back shed. There's nothing glamorous here, guys, as this has literally never been updated or renovated. Just a classic, well-lived in, well-loved and well-aged workers' home. So let's take a look. I hope you enjoy. I've been checking for about 3 weeks in a row and it wasn't open until today because by tomorrow afternoon it's going to be gone. The excavator's sitting in the back. But as you saw from the intro, I got some photos from the front and I'll add some more photos as we go from the times I was here, because they've knocked over the shed but they haven't knocked over the home, and it's all original inside, even though it's pretty well worn, and but it's true to its original condition. And Michael's with me, he's inside. But yeah, check out the old sandstone, red brick, still the old laceworks intact. Beaut old bullnose veranda. Yeah, it's been a really productive day with exploring some old homes today, and this one's just capped the day off nicely. Beautiful old stained glass. We'll get a good view of that while we're inside. I filmed a very identical home to this that I haven't uploaded yet, and I've got the complete history on it. So, see the old door, original. This would be about a 1910 to 1915 build, I think, guys, because that's what the build of the other one that's very similar to this one is. So we'll just close this door over because there's a draft coming right through. Classic old lock. Look out there. See, even these beautiful little cottages still have all this character and beautiful LED light. So glad I got to look inside this one, because even though it is far from some of the ornate ones, when you're inside these ones that are still original, the vibe you get from... Now I don't know what happened in this room, but the floor hasn't been ripped up recently, but it's just not here. So whether that was done a long time ago, looks as though it was, and maybe they were thinking about renovating the place because the ceiling has been deliberately removed too, because it's all missing. There's no daggy bits where it may have fallen down. They've actually removed it. And check out these old blinds though. Complete with cobwebs and everything else that goes along with these old homes. Unfortunately, the old mantle, you can see where it was, that's gone. But the other mantles are here. Yeah, I don't know whether this floor was filled in, because you can't see any foundations here. So I don't know whether it was filled in with this dirt and levelled out. Old Hessian sacks. They look like curtains and stuff. Maybe bed linen. Just your simple yet classic and ornate Victorian era fireplace, cottage fireplace. A couple of nice old cupboards left behind. Yeah, they've knocked down the sheds at the back, but I have got photos of those guys and I'll add that in towards the end. And if I've found some history, you've either heard it at the start or I'll add it in as well, guys, towards the end. But as I said, even though these cottages are so simple and very well worn, lived in and not updated, they've got so much character. And the vibe, just love being in these old homes. Because they are as they were when they were built. The old girl was falling apart in this area, cracks, ceiling. And this little one is right up the end of a dead-end street, just tucked away from everything. And the only reason I realised it was here is because of the application that went through. See, there's the big old yellow devil sitting in the back where the sheds were. So it is your traditional 4-room cottage, and the summer kitchen was out the back, which you'll see. Little lean-to area. They've knocked off the lean-to roof, but the fireplace is still there. Oh, there's a big crack there. That's a huge one. Oops. I don't know what that is. It's electrical work being drilled through the roof. There's the old rim lock. It's the original one. The old back door. That one was locked when we came here last week and the first time I came here. So, well, that old carport's still there, but there was a big old shed there with a car pit. And this had the little lean-to cover. You can see where the corrugated iron wall was there, and that's where the summer kitchen fireplace was. That's the way they built these old cottages. You had 4 rooms to the main section of the home, and you had a little lean-to area which had a dinky little laundry, an outhouse and a summer kitchen. And most of those, even when people bought these old homes, that was the first thing they would renovate and put a new kitchen on the back. But this one hadn't ever been altered, so I'll throw in some photos of that now, guys. So yeah, this would have been a carport originally, because there is a gate that leads out this side and obviously the other side where the truck is. But not much in here, guys, just a cupboard, old toolboard and an old table. A lemon tree. That paints a picture, doesn't it? The old home in the background and its destroyer in the foreground. But this is where there was a shed. And the car pit's still there. I think I only got a kind of a brief photo of that car pit, but I've seen these before, guys. You see them in the garages, carports. And that's where the dunny was, the old outhouse. Got a couple of photos of that. So that's it, guys. We'll wrap it up inside. Historic old cottage, even though no one other than the neighbours would know this place exists. And I'll put in a few more shots of the front as well. So farewell, old girl. By the looks, you won't be here tomorrow afternoon. I'll swing by and see.
It's always sad to see the empty lot devoid of the former dwelling, and now just a memory. But at least we can remember it in some detail with this documentation. Okay, so now we are going to move back out of Alexander Avenue onto Mitchell Street. Only 100 metres or so east to number 40. this charming old villa sold in April of 2021, and only months after that had a demolition application put in. Myself and Michael checked this old girl a few times with no luck, and then all of a sudden, one week, it was in the throes of the salvage process, as seen here. But I do have the real estate photos to add, guys. Mitchell Street, just like Alexander Avenue, started to really take shape around 1913 to 1915, with a flurry of homes being built to fill up the street. For example, in 1913, there were only 2 dwellings between Hardy Street and Weller Street, and then a year later, in 1914, 13 more homes were built, making it 15 between here, including this old gem. So let's take a look through and see what's left, guys. And I wasn't actually going to even worry about filming this one, as all the floors and the doors were gone, but I did decide to, which I am glad, as I was able to find a couple of old things that allowed some research and history to be uncovered. But it also created a mystery in the process, as you will see. Even though the old girl's in the salvage process, guys, I'm still going to show you around. I've already taken a walk through, and during that walkthrough I had a bit of a look, scrounge around in the dirt in the fireplaces, and uncovered a few little things which I'll show you. But first things first, it's actually it's not as ornate as I think it should be, and I think the ceilings have been redone, because there's no ceiling roses, and you can see just up here the cornicing has come down, and that actually looks like it's not the original cornicing. So I think, along with the repairs to the wall cracks, I think they replaced the cornicing and possibly even the ceiling, because compared to the walls, the ceiling is showing no signs of age. So I think it's a replacement, guys. But here's the little bay window, the little nook. It's got some coloured glass. Nice little reading corner. Yeah. Floorboard's been saved. Mantles. As you saw, there's one still sitting out on the veranda. But found a classic old West End can. It's still in Mills, so it's probably a 70s or 80s one, guys. Probably a lot of you watching will know. Let us know in the comments. And just your usual notes. Haven't really opened these up. Just kind of plucked them out. There's like an old envelope. I don't know if the letter's still in there, but probably not. There's a little brooch there, or a button of some time. It says spices in gear or something along those lines. Turn the light off. And that looks like the front end of a child's shoe. How it ended up in the fire, who knows? And that's, I don't know, that's a piece of paper, and there's an old cover of a binder book. A little advertisement for school products, text to school products. It's got a Melbourne address on it,
But check it out, guys. I found 2 shillings. 2 1954 shillings. Now, there you go. There's one of the original ceiling roses. And the cornicing is it's different. It's still got like a little wavy pattern to it. So I think that's the original cornicing that was replaced in the room we were just in. Again, there's another big wall crack. Ceiling to floor. Now this room I did have a look in, and there was one old switch that they've taken off the wall but they've left behind there. One of the old bakelite ones, original ones. Now what I did see here, guys, well, not only the old Marlboro cigarette packet, but up here there's a card wedged in that crack. Now I took it out briefly and opened it and saw that this is a card that says, "A painful shock, a blow, severe, to part with one we loved so dear. Our loss is great, we'll not complain, but trust in God to meet again. Not gone from memory, not gone from love, but gone to our Father's home above. Rest in the Saviour, sweetly rest. They miss you most who love you best." Now it says here, "In loving memory of beloved son, Walter James Poole, who departed this life December 17th, 1914. Now that's pretty much the start of World War I, guys. Maybe the original owners lost a son. Now this must be very, very old, guys. And that makes a great piece for researching this house. Now hopefully that kept in focus there, guys, but I'll give you a close-up if it didn't. But yeah, stuck right there. Now, I don't know if the guys who removed the mantle found that and then left it there, but that's where I found it, sticking right there. It would have been behind the mantle somewhere, or maybe it was stuck there behind the mantle when they ripped it off.
Alrighty, let's take a look at this sympathy card, guys. And it says it's made in Melbourne by a Melbourne company. And we'll take a look into who Walter James Poole was. I figured the best chance of a connection between this home and Walter James Poole would be the first owner, and that was J.S. Wilson, who was a carpenter. So from 1914 to 1928 they were here, but as I looked through Poole's family history, there was no relatives with the last name Wilson associated to their family tree anywhere, so that seems to be a bit of a dead end with the first owner. And I also checked every owner after that, which was quite a few. They also had no relation to the Poole family trees that I saw on Ancestry. But I did track down who Walter James Poole was. First of all, here's a great photo of Walter. He was born 27th of March 1870 and passed away the 17th of December 1914 in Rye, New South Wales. So the date of death and his age at death both check out with this card's dates. But although Walter was born in South Australia, he lived most of his life in New South Wales, including when he was married to Mabel Bowman. No military records were found for Walter, so even though his death aligns with the first few months of the First World War, it seems unrelated, and at 44 years of age, he was actually 3 years too old for enlistment. So the mystery of why this card was left here behind this old mantle in this home still remains. But it turns out, just back past Alexander Avenue on Mitchell Street, a bungalow was built in 1926. And Mr. L.C. Poole was the first resident listed here as a linoist. And I was able to look in Ancestry.com and match up an L.C. Poole who was also listed as a lino operator. And lo and behold, guys, I thought maybe a linoist had something to do with making or laying linoleum, but it turns out this is what a linoist really does. Check it out, guys. They operate these huge printing devices known as the linotype. It's like an enormous typewriter. So with this confirmation, L.C. Poole is indeed Leonard Charles Poole as seen here. He was born in 1889 and, as mentioned, in 1926 moved into this newly built bungalow, which at this time was number 42. And by 1933 it had become number 66 as we see here. This north side of Mitchell Street was originally known as Goodwood Park. Leonard married Lily in 1915, and here they are together on their wedding day. They had 3 children, and Lily passed away in 1968, followed only a year later by Leonard in 1969. And you can see in the directories here, Leonard listed up until 1970. Then a Thelma Poole is listed, which may be a relative, as no direct family members are actually named Thelma. So the mystery of this sympathy card and how it came to rest in this home still remains, as I cannot confirm a direct family member or relative having resided here. So unfortunately, we are none the wiser regarding the exact answer, but the Poole name is a prominent name to this area. Perhaps a connection and interaction was made at some point over the relevant decades in the local neighbourhood. So before we move on to the rest of the home and the video, one of the other items that I found in that front room was actually an old envelope which was sent via airmail. At first I couldn't make out the child's writing, but a quick look at the directories show that this child's name was Martha Papadopoulos, and she was sending this card to her relative of E. Papadopoulos, listed here at 40 Mitchell Street from 1969 onwards. Pretty cool, hey guys? It's amazing what can be looked into from a few old bits and pieces recovered from the old fireplaces. Okay, let's finish looking around here and move on to number 48 for a recap, and then on to number 43 to finish off the video. Alright, let's go. Check out this old TV. It's a pie. Probably 70s, I reckon. Yeah, as I've shown, that's the loo. It is the original loo because it's built as part of the house. Yep. Oh, there's an old fry pan.
Let's now move 4 homes to the west and arrive at 48 Mitchell Street. Like a lot of the other homes I document, the timing of when I filmed them is during or at the beginning of the salvage process. And this beautiful symmetrical villa was no different, as the tin roof sheeting had been removed already, and as I said, this was back in late 2019. It was built in 1913 along with many other homes as mentioned earlier, and Mr. James Charles Merritt was the proud first owner, and he was listed here first in 1914 as a bellows maker. Now, I only just recently learned what bellows were, and for any of you out there who were like me and didn't know, bellows, or a pair of bellows, is a crafted device mainly used to fan or give more air to a fire or embers, fanning the flames, so to speak. And here is a pair that I found in an old cottage not too long ago in the country. A skilled craft indeed to make these by hand, like so many other skills from yesteryear. James Charles Merritt married Eliza Lewis in January of 1901, and they lived at 48 Mitchell Street from 1913 to 1946, when James passed away at the age of 72. You can see here in Ancestry, the place of residence at death was indeed at Goodwood Park. And as mentioned earlier, this side of Mitchell Street, the north side, was originally Goodwood Park. And in the directories, he is last listed in 1946. And then a year later, Miss R.E. Sharp takes up residency and lives here for another 22 years, when a Mrs. F.S. Doherty then becomes the new occupant. This old gem has a larger build and more ornate features distinct to the Federation era and style than that of the more modest but similar looking Schofield cottage at 12 Alexander Avenue. I did really enjoy this explore back in 2019, and there were a lot of wall cracks, which does show a lot of foundation issues. And we have this very interesting pattern of LED light, don't you think, guys? My guess would be that it's a tulip, right? In all seriousness, there is an identical pattern on the front door of the early 20s bungalow that I rent, seen here, guys. And this one does look more like a tulip, and it's very distinctly Art Nouveau in style. So we went from this old villa being at number 48 Mitchell Street to now a brand new design being this dwelling. And to be honest, guys, I actually don't hate it, but I don't prefer it to the former dwelling. Let me know what you all think in the comments. Alright, now we go over the other side of the road to 43 Mitchell Street, where this 50s home once stood. And again, this was in 2019, just as they started the salvage process, even knocking down the front veranda, as seen here. I will actually show you what has taken its place now,
And again, let me know what your thoughts are in the comments. It is a bit of a hark back to the old villas and cottages, but in comparison doesn't hold a candle to them in my opinion. It does look to be bigger than the original 50s home that was here. Speaking of which, let's take a look at what it was like. What's happening, guys? Just stumbled across this little home. Obviously just about to be knocked over. Stuff's been stripped off the walls already. Probably will be only a short video, but let's document it. Let's take a look. It's the laundry. Nice floors. They will probably rip them up too. It's a nice mantle setup, huge mirror there. Big windows too. I'm trying to gauge what era this is from. Okay, I'm guessing 50s by that nautical porthole type door fixture. There's the front door, and I noticed from the front that that is the little veranda covering that's been toppled over. They've knocked the pillars, the front pillars off it. Yeah, that's waterfall style as well. Okay. There's some cupboards there. Just watch where I step here on this stuff. We'll come back and have a look in there. That's the kitchen. Whoa, that is bright. And that's a bedroom. We'll get a look from this angle without the glare. Yep. Bedroom, it's got the built-in wardrobes there. Looks like that used to be a door. This would be the main bedroom. The light's been relegated to that part of the ceiling and the fan gets the centre.
Yeah, I'm thinking 50s. 50s for this home. And all the roof space has been cleared out. You've got insulation all over the floor too. And you've got the bathroom and the loo. Look at the bathroom. Oh wow, look how short or shallow that bath is. Well, the bath itself's not shallow, it's just... It actually goes down further than what the floor level is. Never seen that before. Check it out. Another huge mirror. Okay. See if I can step over this wood. Okay. Yeah, this has been altered. Birds. This has been altered. But that looks like an original fluoro. Another sliding door. They'll probably save that. Check out how many cabinets there are. Kitchen cupboards. There's heaps. Now that is a lot of cupboard space. Not sure what type of stove that is. The backing's been taken off it. Electrolux, it says. That's an Adelaide company, or it used to be.
Okay guys and girls, that's it. I really hope you all enjoyed this one and the added extra info of the homes. There are many more like this on the way. I will get them done soon. Okay, as always, on to the next one, and I'll see you all there. Thanks again for watching. Alright guys, cheers, bye.
Remember, I used to sigh at the end of each day.